Greetings, this is Father Michael with our word of the week. This week's word is the phrase, Streetlight Effect. What is the streetlight effect? Well, it's the observational bias that oftentimes we look for something when it's easy to find. And we take, if you will, the path of least resistance. This effect is often associated with the little story that's told of the policeman who, as he's walking his nightly beat, sees a gentleman who's a little bit inebriated under a street light, a street lamp, and he's searching for something. The policeman says, "Hey, what's going on?" And the man says, "Well, I've lost my keys." So the policeman comes to help him search for the keys, and after a time, he says, "I'm not finding it. Are you sure this is where you lost your keys?" And the man says, "Well, no, I think I dropped them over in the dark parking lot over there, but the light was here, so I thought it would be easier just to look here." This is what's known as the streetlight effect. That in our lives and anything we do, we naturally gravitate to places and people where there's a seeming ease of connection, where the light is most pronounced, where clarity is to be had. What can happen oftentimes, though, in our spiritual life is that we expect faith to be like a street light, a street lamp, which suddenly illumines our life, that if we believe in God, all will be made clear. We'll have a kind of insightful clarity in which, even if it's not easy to follow Jesus, at least we know what to do. And yet, anyone knows who's been able to and is on that journey of faith knows the faith that is required for a journey is the light we need for the dark parking lot, not for the illuminated street lamp. In our readings today, Jesus speaks about being light, but not an obvious sort of light. The light of faith doesn't give us clarity, but gives us a belief to know that God is present even in the darkness, even in the struggle. In the first reading, the prophet says that the people who have walked in darkness have seen a great light, and that light is nothing less than the living presence and prophecy of Jesus himself. The prophet David, King David, in penning the psalm for this weekend, says this: "The Lord is my light and my salvation." We think, wonderful. When the Lord's our light and our salvation, everything is made clear. And yet, as he reflects on his life, David mentions the struggles, the darkness. What keeps him from seeing the Lord? Well, the armies encamped against him, those who wish him political or societal or religious harm. And at the end of the day, David knows he needs to go to the dark parking lot of life. And this is what he requests. He says, "One thing I ask of the Lord. This is what I'm looking for. This alone do I seek." To do what? To dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. And to contemplate, to see, to gaze on the loveliness of his temple. Faith doesn't give us clarity on what we ought to do, but gives us insight into who is present with us. That we don't search alone. That even in the dark parking lots of life, searching for the key to our life, to our happiness, the Lord is searching with us. The Lord is guiding us. The Lord is helping us in that very process of discovering the key. For each one of us, faith is a kind of darkness which helps us to strengthen our belief that we are not on this journey alone. So the psalmist David concludes by saying, "Those who believe in the Lord have courage, be stout-hearted, and wait for the Lord." Let's not give into the easy truth, that kind of training wheel truth, that faith gives us unique insight or clarity, but the reality that faith gives us a kind of vision. into the powerful presence of the Lord. Let us seek each day in our prayer to do nothing else but to discover the face of Christ, his presence amongst us, his face in the lives and the needs of others. Let us grow in our faith that we might see, not with our physical eyes, with our spiritual eyes, the living presence of God. Wait for the Lord. Be stout-hearted. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Amen. Amen.